Good morning from Los Angeles. Welcome to Power Hour every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern. Interesting show today. Interesting. I've had my YouTube channel for about a year and a couple of months now. Thank you for the support. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and please put a thumbs up. Supposedly it helps the algorithm, but I'm not in it for YouTube. I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to really gain by earning a few YouTube dollars. So I'm doing it to share correct information. And because YouTube is a wonderland of scammers and some really good content as well. But if you do run into some charlatans, too bad. Due to the fact that I do watch some other folks' channels, some good ones and some ones that just I kind of laugh at. And seems like everybody's talking their book. Seems like nobody posts their positions like I do. I post my positions every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on the community page of the YouTube channel. Gains, losses, all of it. Like I said, I have nothing to prove, nothing to gain by doing it, but I'm doing it to pay it forward. I'm doing it to educate because I think that's the most important thing in our lives. There's power in education. There's power in correct information. So for the last couple of days, I've been putting out videos about, it seems like getting a lot of traction is on Bmnr, Tom Lee's company, and Sbet, and MicroStrategy or strategy. I will do a deep dive on two, specifically the Bmnr and Sbet, but I'll talk a little bit about MicroStrategy or strategy and Michael Saylor as well. Obviously, I'll go through the position, go through some charts. First things first, who says lower interest rates are good for the market, right? So unemployment numbers came out today, worse than expected. Is President Trump going to fire somebody else? I'm not sure. That it was the reason, by the way, for now the Federal Reserve is definitely going to cut rates. Economy is definitely slowing down, especially on the unemployment side, or the employment side. Inflation is very sticky. We know what happened with CPI and PPI last month. So going forward, those macro data is going to be super, super important. Can you spell stagflation? I think a lot of the folks on CNBC will start talking about it. It's pretty simple, really. If you look at the Fed mandate, which is 2% inflation and full employment, both indicators are both things they watch are going the opposite directions, right? Employment's getting worse and inflation is going higher. We're getting sticky, and it's pretty obvious by just look at gold, right? Look at the US dollar. Stock market's flirting with all-time highs, but then I think a lot of people are thinking about lower interest rates are going to be good for the markets. We're going to melt up. I don't think so. I think there will be a rotation. We can see it already today. We can see massive rotation going on. I mean, look at NVIDIA, look at AMD, look at Palantir, all red. Most of the Mag 7 is red, actually. But then IWM is green. IWM is Russell 2000. So the SPX and the Triple Q has outperformed the IWM for years now, for maybe 4 or 5 years, because, right, what happened? The interest rate hiking cycle started. We had the mini bear market between 2022, 2023, and then when we bottomed, the Mag 7 or the 10 top stocks and the SPX just took off, right? And all the other ones are left behind. Well, I think lower interest rate environment is specifically good for smaller companies. Larger companies already are reaping the benefits of whatever interest rates we have due to the cash hoards that they're holding, but smaller companies that are in the Russell 2000 are going to benefit from lower interest rates. So I'm seeing rotation, and I'm going to start rotating myself. Pay attention to some small to mid caps as opposed to just mega caps. And when the rotation starts happening, by the way, you know, those mega caps are such highly valued companies, right? NVIDIA's case, you know, with the pullback now, 4 trillion. I mean, they're all trillion-dollar companies. So if the money starts rotating, it's going to go somewhere. Where is it going to go? Well, it may go into Russell 2000. By the way, none of this is investment, trading, or financial advice. What I do is risky. Do your own due diligence. It is definitely, it's been an interesting year. My account's still up solid, but it's a tough year. I mean, the reason it's tough is because there is so much overnight risk, news risk, right? Specifically out of Washington. But again, you just deal with what you have. You trade what's in front of you. So lower interest rates, you know, there are two camps about this, right? There are camps that think we're going to melt up, and there's a camp that says, well, lower interest rates are not good. Look at the interest rate cycles that we have gone through, right? We had one in 2008. We had one during the pandemic. We had one in 2021, 2022. There is a lag, obviously, right? There's a lag about probably 6 months or so between what the markets do. And the key thing here to understand is, why is the Fed cutting rates, right? When all asset classes, stock market, real estate, crypto mostly, gold specifically, are at all-time highs, why is the Fed cutting rates? Well, they're not cutting rates because they got strong-armed by the administration. They're seeing weakening of one of their metrics, which is employment. And although they're cutting rates at a time where inflation has not gone away to their 2% target. So what does that mean? Is it a slowing economy with increasing or higher inflation, which is the definition of stagflation? I've been talking about stagflation for about 8 months now. There's videos on the channel. You guys can go check it out. What is the cure for stagflation, right? There isn't that many. I mean, if you do study history, if you go back to the 70s when Paul Volcker was the Fed chair, we know what happened then, right? Rates shot up to 20%, and basically they killed the economy and in order to kill inflation. And you know, I don't know too much of a cure for stagflation because it's a double-edged sword. If the economy is slowing down and you cut the rates, inflation is going to heat up, right? But then I think automatically after a while it cures itself because demand slows down. And when demand slows down, obviously inflation will come down. And but it's something that it has to play its course. And all the stuff that I'm watching is definitely looking like it's stagflation. We'll see. We'll see what's going to happen. Definitely rate cuts definitely happening on the, I think it's the 15th when the Fed meets, probably quarter point, and another one probably in December. The point is the Fed is cutting rates because the economy is slowing down. Well, the market is priced for perfection, if not super perfection at the moment. When I say the market, the indexes, SPX, you know, look, you may own stocks that are in the SPX. You may own the Palantirs and Hoods and, you know, SoFis and, you know, all the high flyers. But if you look at the valuations, if you look at the valuation of the market itself, it's pretty high. It's way above the norm, or way above the mean, looking back, right? And you got to look at history. The other thing is, you know, people watch the Warren Buffett indicator. That's been flashing red for, I don't know, a year now, since he went to pretty much all cash now. There are other indicators that people watch, but I did put a video out saying, who says lower interest rates are good for the market? Please go check that video out. There is a slide in there that I put up that shows what happens during interest rate hiking cycles and then during interest rate lowering cycles. If the Fed is lowering rates because the economy is slowing down and the markets are priced for perfection, we're going to have some pain. We're going to have a correction for sure. I'm not saying a bear market crash or whatever, but we're definitely going to suffer a little bit here. The other thing that is very popular these days, obviously, is crypto. it's become mainstream. Institutional support is there. Obviously, the administration is very friendly to crypto, unlike the past administration. So I've been getting, well, I started putting some trades on Bmnr and Sbet, which I will do it when I do a deep dive or go into my positions. I will share it with you all. The other thing I want actually today to be is a super interactive session. If you have any opinions, you don't have to come talk your book here. Well, I don't care about that. What you can, though, all opinions are welcome. So I'm going to share the link of the StreamYard. Let's share that. And then if you guys want to grab it and come on, you're more than welcome to do so. I'll probably be on about an hour and 15, or maybe an hour and a half, depending if people show up. So here's the StreamYard link if you want to grab it. The only thing I ask that you have good internet connection, you're at a quiet place. You're more than welcome to show up, and we can discuss whatever you want to discuss. You can ask me whatever you want to ask me. I'll do a Q&A. I'll look at the chat in a minute. And so let's talk about it. Let's talk about, I put 2 videos out 2 days in a row on Bmnr and Sbet. I do go, into some chat rooms and read the comments. It seems like a lot of bag holders already. And I just started initiating positions. Actually, I have losses on both positions that I initiated. I'm adding to some today. Like I said, in this channel, full transparency, gains, losses, all of it. I post it, and and the important thing is but to understand when to take the losses or what your risk is before you get into a trade. People who follow me already know that I talk quite a bit about 3 Ps. 3 Ps being first P being patience. So I displayed a lot of patience on Bmnr and Sbet, and I'm still losing money. So I can imagine for people who bought it in the 30s, 20s, or high 20s or mid 20s on Sbet, and into the 50s, 60s, whatever on Bmnr, thinking just because Tom Lee's in there, Bmnr is a sure shot. No. Look, I respect Tom Lee. He's one of the GOATs. Although a perma bull, look, I'm trading, right? I don't have, when you're trading, you have a shorter term outlook. And of course, I have said this a million times. I highly, highly, highly suggest you don't mix your business with pleasure. Trading is pleasure for me. But definitely have an investment account that is probably 5x the size of your trading account. So if you do blow your trading account, it doesn't hurt as much. And I do have both. I've had both the same setup for years, over 20 years plus. You have to have an investment account. You have to have a trading account. In trading, your returns have to be there. Look, a lot of people just kind of lie to themselves, I guess. They don't do a reality check. The reality check is, if you're trading, you need to your return on capital has to be 5x minimum of the benchmarks, which is the indexes, right? So if S&P 500 is up 10% for the year, which is roughly, that's where we're at, you need to have 5x. Why? Number one, you have taxes, right? If you have gains, obviously. If you have taxes, in California, I have 40% taxes, ordinary income rates, right? So you take that out of so let's say S&P 500 is up 10%, your trading account is up 50%. Okay, great. Well, you have to pay taxes at the end of the year. So I take 40% out of that 50, we're down to 30%. You have slippage, you have commissions, you have whatever you have. Take another 5 for that, you're at 25. Okay, now you're double and a half the benchmark. Fine, that's good. But if you're not getting 5x, 6x, 7x of the benchmark in your trading account, not investment account, investment's completely different. Then you can DCA, be more patient, go for long-term capital gains at 19.5%, I think, last I checked. It's a completely different game, right? That's why I highly recommend, separating the two, investments versus trading. And my trading, by the way, my trading style, for people who don't know me yet, is reasonably short term, but I swing trade and position trade. I do not day trade. Once in a while, I'll dabble into zero DTEs with the SPXs, but not my game. Although it seems like it's everybody else's game. What I do works, and I just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So Where are we? Let's get back to SBET and Bmnr. I will answer the question. So let's look at the chat real quick. Traveler, hey, SJ, good morning. Doug, penguin, blue, waving. Huh, okay, I don't know what that means. Manny P, good morning. So there's the link, folks. If you want to come on, do it. SJ, put that on the members chat. I don't like Weibo, but what do I know? Yeah, put that in the chat. Put that in our Telegram chat. So he's a member, SJ, as you guys can tell. Before I get into Bmnr and Sbet and MSTR, I do have a Telegram chat group. It's a members only. If you do want to become a member, click join and email me, sergio@sergioavadian.com. I will email you the link of the Telegram chat group. There's about 40 of us in there at the moment. Some newbies, some really experienced guys. I don't know if we have a female yet. We do need a female actually in that to balance us out a little bit. And so what do they get? They get my trades live. Again, none of this is trading or financial advice or investment advice. I post my trades as soon as I execute them. They get open positions at the end of every day. More importantly, I think that's the most important part of being a member is joining members only live stream every Wednesday at 4:30 Pacific. I think those are really, really valuable for the members, more than me posting my trades. Look, I have winners, I have losers. If you don't do everything I do, you're not going to get my return. So, and that also depends on account size, what level of options you're approved for, and many, many, many different things. So, but if you do want to support the channel, sure, go ahead, click join, become a member, email me, sergio@sergioavadian.com. I will email you the Telegram chat group link, and I highly recommend joining just for the members only live. They last about an hour and a half. It's a really, really good exchange of ideas. A lot more one-on-one exchanges, obviously. And, me posting my trades is like giving you a fish if it's a winner. I don't want to give you a fish. I want to teach you how to fish. So I've been involved in this 30 plus years, starting on the desk, trading desks. I know the game well. Let me just go back real quick to my 3 Ps. 3 Ps are patience, right? Which most traders don't have. They love day trading, swinging zero DTs, blowing accounts right and left. That's number one. Number two, you have to position or position size. When I say position, not directionals, non-directionals, things like that, you have to position size correctly. If you don't position size correctly, you're going to blow accounts, period. If you're in the camp of YOLO, FOMO, all that stuff, this is not the channel for you. And number three is planning, right? What's the plan? What plan do you have? Do you have a plan? So the way I do it is like, let's say I'm going to talk about Bmnr and Sbet. I create a thesis, and I don't create it out of thin air. Obviously, I'm studying everything that I can get my hands on, and I do understand what's going on. I create a thesis. With the knowledge that I have, I structure a trade around it. I know my exit. I know my risk when I'm getting in, and I know when to pull the trigger, right? And all 3 Ps have qualities that will save you a lot of grief, a lot of financial grief, a lot of mental grief, a lot of stress. The patience part is important because I think a lot of people pull the trigger too soon because they get influenced by some YouTube jockey or some FinTwit or whatever, right? People are tweeting all over the place these days. Oh, look at me. I'm like, bro, it's like, who cares? Post your positions, full out, full transparency, wins and losses. I don't see too many people posting losses, by the way. I post my losses. I'm like, who cares? Because to me, the important thing is account equity. Where's your account? Like a lot of people go, oh, my win rate is 85%. I mean, who cares? Who cares if your win rate's 85%? Where's your account at? How much is your equity up? Where's your return on capital? Win rate's meaning nothing. It could be 30 small winners, and then one big loss is going to wipe it all out. So I don't pay any attention to win rate or any of that. What I pay attention to is my scoreboard, which is my account equity, which is getting marked to market every second of the day. That does not lie. That's your scoreboard. Now, you can do all the mental masturbation, saying, oh, well, I did this, I did that. I'm like, it means nothing. It's all marked. It's all in your account equity. It's moving every second, right? So if your account is $1 and today you have $1.10, you just gained 10%, period. Obviously, there's unrealized gains, unrealized losses, and realized gains and realized losses in there, right? But it's all added or figured out in your account equity. Account equity don't lie. And it's a simple way to do it. Just look at it, right? If it's green from yesterday, you made money. If it's red, you lose money. You may have 50 positions in the account. One will be red, one will be unchanged, one will be green. But overall, that's it. That's your scoreboard. So a lot of people, when they talk to me, like, what do you watch? I go, I don't watch anything. I just look at it like a supermarket basket. I have 10 positions in there. Now, I would like all my shorts to go down and all my longs to go up, but rarely that happens, right? Okay, well, just look at account equity and manage your drawdowns, risk manage, right? And there's a lot of people have this idea of, okay, my account is $100. It's okay if it goes to 50. No, it's not okay if it goes to 50 because that's down 50%. But if you go back up 50%, you're only going to be at 75. You need to double your account after you let it go down 50% for you to just get back to where you were. That's a hard mountain to climb. That's a very difficult thing to do over and over, mentally, physically, stress-wise, financially, obviously, right? Because a lot of people are just stick their hand in the sand. And let's segue into Bmnr and Sbet and Mstr. So we all know what they are, right? Okay, we all know they're treasury asset companies that collect or buy Bitcoin or Ethereum. The last two being Bmnr and Sharplink Gaming, or Sbet, I call it. Okay, so Bmnr, Tom Lee is the face, right? Everybody trusts Tom Lee. Look, I have nothing negative to say about Tom Lee. The man has been right at the death spirals. In April, he was right. Every time the market pulls back, he's right. Because he figured out what we're doing, right? We cannot stop the music. Musical chairs has to go on. We're going to keep printing, keep printing, keep printing. Look at gold, okay? We have to. We cannot afford to let this music stop because there's 9 people in the room. There's only 1 chair. 8 people are going to die. And we can't stop the music now. It's too late. Too late to stop the music. We just can't. We're going to continuously print, spend, regardless of who's in Washington. It's just a given, okay? And I think he has figured that out. He has figured out that there's so much money sloshing around. Obviously, it's going to come home to roost, right? There's one day, something is going to break. And when it does break, we're going to suffer the consequences. But I'm not smart enough or good enough to figure out when things are going to go sideways. So Bmnr and Sbet were they were regular companies, right? Just like any other company with earnings and sales and revenue and cash flow and all that stuff. Well, they got converted into treasury asset companies that stake or hold or buy or accumulate Ethereum. Well, just because Tom Lee is involved doesn't mean anything to me. Again, much respect to Tom Lee. He has a thesis. He's executing just like my 3 Ps. He has a plan. He's executing the plan, and they're executing flawlessly. But one thing he cannot control is the price of the underlying. What is the price on the underlying? Ethereum. Well, he's trying to accumulate as much as he can, getting up to 5%. I've watched his videos, him talking about this being the 1971 moment when we went off the gold standard and created synthetic dollars. And that's what I think he figured out, because we create so many synthetic dollars that all asset classes are just going booming. Real estate, gold, right? Crypto and stock market. Look where things are. That's because we have so many dollars that we just create out of thin air, synthetic dollars, and push it into the marketplace. And but then if you look at around the globe, what is happening, right? What is happening to all the long end of the yield curve? UK, Germany, Japan, absolutely going through the roof. Interest rates are shooting up, right? Although last couple of days here, which I'll go look again today. Today was another big day on TLT. TLT is a inverse indicator of the 20-year bond. Rates are going down on the long end, which is good. I hope they keep going down because we need it to lower mortgages, lower car loans, and things like that. But so he's accumulating Ethereum. Ethereum is about 4,300. Okay, so and there was something called most people who I watch or listen to on YouTube, they have this notion that Tom Lee said it should be okay. No. What is your thesis, right? Are you buying what he's selling? You know, we're all entitled to be wrong, and we all have our own opinions. I'm just stating my own opinion. I'm putting the trade on because I structured my trades around the thesis that I created. Is it because I believe in Tom Lee that says it's the 1971 moment, tokenization of every asset? It's the, Wall Street benefited greatly when we went off the gold standard, created synthetic dollars. All these products got created. Possibly, long term, maybe, potentially, but it's just talk at the moment. And what is happening? So one thing that I think a lot of people misjudge or misunderstand is something called MNAV. MNAV meaning multiple to net asset value. Okay, so it started with Michael Saylor a few years ago. He was the first one. He is the spokesperson for Bitcoin, I think, or Bitcoin Treasury Asset Company, through his company strategy. Although there is a company behind it that they create some enterprise software, which has no meaning really, because it's not a profitable company. So he started buying Bitcoin, and I think he's up to close to 700,000 Bitcoin. So the net assets of the company is the underlying crypto that they're holding. Okay. And Tom Lee, through Bmnr, keeps issuing at the market stock and buying Bitcoin. That was all great, fine, amazing, because the MNAV, multiple to net asset value, by the way, so the way people should figure out multiple net asset value is you have market capitalization of Bmnr. Let's hypothetical, okay? Let's say market capitalization is 10 billion. If the Bitcoin holdings they have are 8 billion, not Bitcoin, Ethereum holdings they have is 8 billion, well, that's about 1.5 MNAV, let's say, for lack of, not being correct, but let's say 1.5. So that means there's a premium. That means the underlying equity, Bmnr, is selling at a premium to their Ethereum holdings. So MNAV is 1.5. So basically, they're selling shares at the current price and turning and buying an asset that's cheaper, which is Ethereum. Great. As long as that premium is there, they're going to keep doing this. They're going to keep doing this to accumulate as many tokens as possible, as fast as possible. Well, something broke. Something went wrong. Same thing with Sbet, by the way. Same thing with Sbet. Sbet was trading when it went to 160 something or whatever. And whoever shorted it, God bless him, my hat's off to you. And what did Wall Street do when they see 2 MNAV, 2.5 MNAV? Same thing with strategy. What do? They go buy Ethereum, physical Ethereum, and they short the equity. Great play. Jim Chanos did it with strategy. I think he made a ton of money because he shorted MSTR when it was 1.7 MNAV. And we know what's happening to MNAV on all of these companies now. Okay. So with my patients, what did I do? I waited because I personally don't think they should sell at a premium. Now, there are a lot of folks, in fact, some of you hopefully come on and explain it to me why Bmnr should sell at 1.5 MNAV, meaning 50%. So market capitalization of Bmnr should be 50% higher than their Ethereum holdings. I get it. I get the staking. I get all that stuff. But give me a reason why it should be 1.5. other than that. There isn't any. Okay. But let's say there is. Okay. Well, that game ended real fast, didn't it now? Why is that? Because MNAV got crushed, specifically in the case of Sbet and also Bmnr and MicroStrategy or Strategy. I believe Strategy is the only one selling at a premium at the moment, but albeit very small, somewhere around 1.3 range, maybe 1.2 and a half. And Bmnr, as of last Friday and yesterday and today, is under MNAV, from what I can understand, meaning you take the outstanding shares, multiply by the stock price, you create market capitalization, you look at their Ethereum holdings, divide the two, you get MNAV. I believe MNAV on Bmnr is under 1 now. So that's par, let's call it par. 1 to 1 is less than 1. On Sbet, is literally, as of today, I think we're down to 0.82. On Sbet, MNAV was 2.5 when the stock was where it was, right? Okay, so now we're at 0.82, I think, as of this second, from what I can gather. Again, the same calculations, right? Now, that creates some challenges for these treasury asset companies. Although, with my patience, I waited until they both went under par, and that's when I started putting the trades on, which I will discuss in a minute. What am I doing with it? A lot of people are buying the equity. I am not sure, because these are pure Ethereum proxies now. You just are completely dependent, nothing more, completely dependent on Ethereum going higher, especially when MNAV is under 1. Why is that? Before, when MNAV was above 1, they were all diluting like mad at the market sales, ATM sales, and buying Ethereum immediately. Well, why would anybody dilute and sell stock when MNAV is under 1? You're just eating your own flesh at that point. Actually, at that point, what you should do is you should go buybacks. And I think Bmnr did say that they have $1 billion buyback in place. I don't think Sbet has that kind of cash to do it. But I waited, and then I started putting the positions on when they went under 1 MNAV. I'm like, okay, so it's a double-edged sword, though. So under MNAV, why would anybody sell shares and dilute, right? And now you're playing the game the opposite direction, okay? And a lot of people have hopes that if now what will happen if Ethereum goes to 3,000? Could. Any guarantees that it's not going to go to 3,500, 3,000? It came from there real quickly with the buying of these treasury asset companies. And a lot of people call these things Ponzi schemes or not. And look, I have no opinion on that. I don't think they are. But now, the one thing that they have an advantage on is they are not levered, right? They're not doing it on leverage. So they're not going to be forced to liquidate the tokens that they have. That's one. Two, Ethereum is creating a yield of about 3.5% by them staking it. And so they can come back and buy shares with that if it's under MNAV. But there is something going on here that a lot of folks just became bag holders now, because they have went and bought the equity, not thinking it will ever go below 1 MNAV. Well, market did it. It is below 1 MNAV safely, both Bmnr and Sbet. So now, if they go to ATMs under MNAV, now they're paying actually more. But the way I'm looking at this is that, I'm going to talk a little bit about the NASDAQ ruling or the SEC ruling yesterday shortly. The way I'm looking at it is that, okay, I rather buy Sbet or Bmnr than buy Ethereum now. Before, it was the other way around. I rather buy Ethereum itself if I think it's going higher than the equity. Because why pay for a premium, right? Why pay more? But now, since they're below 1 MNAV, maybe I'm thinking, okay, now it's at a discount. So if Sbet MNAV is 0.8, that's 20%. That's almost me buying Ethereum at a 20% discount if I buy Sbet shares. But then it all depends on the Ethereum price. What if Ethereum goes to 3,500? It could. Where's Sbet going to be? It's going to be at 5. Where's Bmnr going to be? It's probably going to be at 15, 20, right? You know, a lot of people ask me like, well, what do I do? Then, well, don't get involved. Unless you're really bullish on Ethereum, you should, just because MNAV is under 1, you should not be involved, right? You have no business. Now, Tom Lee again says, you know, Ethereum at the end of the year is going to be 8,000. Next year is going to be 20,000. Could be. I don't know, but we're not there today. But again, that's about trading versus investing. And so I highly recommend for people to understand what they're getting into, because when I do read these chat boards, a lot of complainers, oh, it's a trash company. Well, you should have known what you're getting into. You should have thought about MNAV going under 1. Could MNAV go to 0.5? Of course it could. Of course it could, right? So now you have the double-edged sword on the downside. What if Ethereum price goes down and MNAV keeps shrinking? Could happen. At some point, obviously, at some point, the Ethereum holdings of Sbet and the market capitalization are going to equal themselves out at some point. That means MNAV going back to 1. But when is that going to happen? I don't know. Could it go from 0.8 to 1.6 again? Potentially, but I don't know. So there are a lot of unknowns, but what I know now, I'm putting my trades on because MNAV is under 1. Now, how am I doing it? I'm doing it with defined downside risk and as much upside as I can participate with. Okay, so I'll share, you know, my positions in a minute. So William, device not connected. Okay, well, once you connect, I'll come up. Let's answer some questions. John, good morning. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. Is Oscar getting a bit due to rotation? Yeah, but definitely. I mean, if the rotation starts, well, also they had a good conference actually a couple of days ago. You know, stocks like that, right? Small mid caps, they're going to get the wind. I mean, look at IWM today compared to SPX, right? IWM, I think, is still green, and SPX is. So my experience over the last 30, 35 years says that on an interest rate lowering cycle, small caps do better, okay? And they have underperformed forever, like 5, 6 years now, right? Maybe their time has come. I'm not saying it has. Like, you could do an arbitrage trade, which is, you know, you could buy IWM and short SPX. And there is a potential of that. You could do a trade like that through options or whatever, or futures or derivatives, and hoping that on down days, IWM is going to go down less than SPX, and SPX is going to go down more. And on up days, IWM is going to go up more than the SPX will. And look, you just look at today, okay? Look at today. NVIDIA, Palantir, Apple, Microsoft, all the high flyers, you know? And the only one that's behaving today is Tesla. So we'll see. All right, let me add William to the screen. And then I'll go through the positions maybe while he's here. William, how are you?
Hi, I'm fine.
How's it going?
Pretty good, pretty good.
Okay, you're live. So what can I do for you today?
Oh, I had a question.
Yeah.
Do you really think the Nvidia and the big Magnificent Sevens are going to go down?
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they're not going to go outperform as much as they did over the last 5 years.
Okay, and stocks like I saw already Oscar, and stocks
Yeah,
like
there's many. There are many. There are many, like mid to small caps. I'm looking at the index IWM, which is the Russell 2000, right? There's 2,000 companies in there. There's a bigger index called Wilshire 5000. These are all indexes that you can trade, just like SPX and Triple Q and things like that, right?
And what do you think of Venture Global? Do you know the company?
No. What's the symbol?
VG.
VG. All right, I'll take a look. Let me go to my screen so I can share the positions as well. You're not off, just stay on, okay? So this is my setup, and this is the SPY, VG. Let's go to let's go to charts. So this is SPY, right? Today we just kind of open higher, and then in fact I posted on my chat group. I said, "Are we going red today?" And within like 15 minutes, we were red. This is that, and so the rotation I'm looking for is this is IWM. IWM is the Russell 2000, still green. And if you do pull yourself back a little bit, once in a while, you have to step back to look at things. Okay, this is IWM going back 3 years, and I don't draw too many charts, too many lines on my charts, by the way. I just don't understand why people do it. So, and this is SPX over the last 3 years. So all-time highs, IWM is not even close to all-time highs, but if it's going to outperform, this is the time to do it, rotation. And you said VG. Let's take a look at VG. I don't even know what they do. This looks like a new issue. Is this a new issue?
The gas company.
Gas company?
Yes.
Like what kind of gas? Like oil and gas, or what, natural gas, or what are we talking about here?
No, LNG.
LNG. Okay. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It looks okay. I mean, it's just consolidating. It got crushed after it came public. It looks like, obviously, with the April bullshit, and then rallied, doubled or tripled almost, and now it's consolidating. I like it. I mean, I don't know anything about the company fundamentally, but technically it looks okay. I mean, it's making lower lows, lower highs. Long term, maybe interesting.
It's grown really fast, and it's already cash flow positive.
Okay. I mean, but my consideration, if we're getting in a stagflationary period, right? My consideration will be rotating from some of it from Mag 7s or Mag 10 or whatever you want to call it into obviously commodities, things like that. And LG maybe or VG will probably benefit from commodities moving higher. Look, if we have stagflation, the consumer is already stretched, so you don't want too many consumer stocks. They're going to pull back from spending because 80% of our GDP is consumer spending, right? And rotating into. I mean, I rather, for people who cannot pick stocks themselves, I rather have them do it with indexes, right? Being IWM or Mstr 5000 versus SPX or Triple Q. That's the safest way to look at these things, as opposed to picking stocks. But as far as small cap stocks, there are many in there, right? There are many with no earnings. There are many with earnings. I would study stocks that have some leverage, or they have some debt on their balance sheet. Maybe they'll be able to rotate their debt, right? If we start getting in an interest rate cutting cycle, right, their cost of interest or servicing costs are going to go lower. And a lot of small companies do depend on debt, and that's why they have underperformed. Large companies don't, because they have so much cash flow that they're throwing. So that's why I'm thinking, this may be the time to take a look at rotation. I've said this frequently, that a lot of people, take a guess like, okay, yeah, it's time for small caps, and it never came. Maybe this is the time. I'll take a shot here. I'll take a shot just with SPX and IWM, right? I can be short SPX and long IWM, and the difference is the difference. So that's the way I'm looking at it. But also, there is, look, in the S&P 500, even in the S&P 500, top 50 stocks have brought the index here. There's 450 companies that have not done well, or anywhere near as well, or in the top 50. So if you do study S&P 500, you can find yourself some small caps, mid caps, right? And there are many. There's 450 of them that have not done anywhere near as well as an NVIDIA or a Palantir or or Apple's, obviously, or any of that stuff. So, it wouldn't take much. Maybe do like a scan of the S&P 500 and check out what's what has underperformed the last couple 3 years, and maybe it's the time for those to outperform now.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, you got it. Have a good one.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm going to go to my positions and explain to you all what am I doing with Sbet and Bmnr. I'm stepping up. I'm putting my money where my mouth is, although I do have losses on both. Currently, unrealized. All right, so this is my positions. Full transparency here. Okay. I'll start with Bmnr. So what did I do on Bmnr? Stock is 41.12. It was as high as 44 today. It opened strong, and then they absolutely smashed it. So that's the other thing that I'm trying to explain is that, like, with MNAV less than 1, they should be buying back their shares, actually, because then lower the share count, and then their ETH holdings will actually be more valuable. But do they have the shares? I am against them doing ATM sales to buy ETH when MNAV is under 1. Is that the reason? I don't know. Is that the reason they're under pressure? Because look, if you look at ETH is still, I think last time I checked, it was still 4,300. I mean, we're only like 500-600 from all-time high. But these stocks have crashed. Why? Because MNAV got crashed. So people don't understand that and buy it, and then they complain. They go like, oh, I'm like, yeah, you don't know what the heck you're buying. Buyer beware. What are you buying? Do you even know what you're doing? Anyway, it's not my place to say people right, people wrong. So what did I do with Bmnr? I put on a sort of a synthetic, really. I I created a put credit spread by shorting the 45 puts. This is October's 17th expiration, regular expiration. I shorted the October 45 puts, bought the October 40 puts. So in our world, that's called a put credit spread, and I collected some credit. And with that credit, I turned around and bought a call debit spread. So to give myself some upside exposure. So this is a defined risk trade on the downside. So the max loss already I know from the get-go is $5. That's the difference between the two strikes, 45 and 40 on the put side. And at 41, we're almost at max loss. It will not get there until the last probably couple days. But if I had bought it, so when I did this, Bmnr was at 53. If I bought the shares at 53, we're down to 41. I'll be down 25%. So the trades I'm putting on are low, defined, not low or none, no risk, defined risk trades that gives me potential upside exposure with a defined downside. And I know my max loss is going to be 5 on this, period. Now, if Bmnr is a 45, 3 things can happen. It's either a 45, it's either a 55, it could be 70, or it could be 0. I know what my max loss is going to be. And I know what my upside is going to be since I put the trades on with some credits meaning getting paid to play. My max loss is going to be 5 less the credits that I took in. So that's my exposure on Bmnr with 20 lots. I'm not going to push anymore. The other thing, the reason I did it instead of buying the shares is because it's really, really equity efficient. Okay. I've traded Thinkorswim at Schwab, so it's super equity efficient. And, I put the trade on when MNAV went below 1, and I'm still losing money. Now, the only thing I did is that, so I sold a put credit spread to buy a call debit spread with that money and have some money left over, some credits left over. Well, today, so when you put a call debit spread on, what do? You buy the calls. I bought the 50 calls and I sold the 70 calls. So that's the call debit spread. Well, the call debit spread that I sold for has short leg of the call spread, right? Well, that short leg is down about 58%. So I covered the short side of the calls. That's why you guys are seeing 0 here on the short end. So at the moment, the way it stands is I have the put credit spread on and I'm long calls, period. Second one is I'm long a couple hundred puts on NEO. Earnings are out. I'm looking, that's my little lottery ticket. They're like 20 cents. I'll keep that on. I'm long 4,000 shares of Pioneer Power long 4,000 shares of Pioneer Power Solutions at 371. Stock is 381, so we're up on that a little bit. And I'll get to Sbet before I get into anything else. And I just started buying yesterday and the day before TSSI Inc. I bought a couple thousand shares, average cost $12.71, stock is $13.40, so I'm up about $1,500 on that, so that's fine. Now let's get to Sbet. Sbet, basically, I'm doing the same thing, and then now I started going longer durations, longer expirations with different strikes. Again, limited or defined risk trades. When I put this trade on, Sbet was about 19 or close to 20. I started putting these on last Friday, and today we're at less than 15. So I'd be eating it, right? Consider myself a bag holder on this. I'm still losing money on this trade, don't get me wrong, but I know what my risk is. So how did I structure that trade? Again, I started doing it about 0.89 MNAV, 0.9. Now we're down to 0.82. Now I'm putting on more positions. So again, the Sbet could go to 0. I cannot lose more than my max loss as I enter the trade, period. If you do buy the shares, you have the risk of 0, obviously. I mean, I'm not saying it's going to 0. It could go to 5. If Ethereum goes to 3,500, Sbet will be 5. So what did I do? I sold the 17.5 puts for October. I bought the 15 puts, so that's the put credit spread. Turned around and bought a call debit spread. So I bought the 20 calls and sold the 30 calls. And just like I did with Bmnr, I bought back the short calls of that leg of the call debit spread today with about 60% gain. So I took a couple of little profits, but then my long calls are down and my puts are against me, obviously. So at the moment, I have unrealized losses. And yesterday and today, I started going out to January of 2026 now. But now I'm actually playing for more upside. What did I do? Again, defined risk trade. I sold the 15 puts for January on Sbet. I bought the 12.5 puts, so that's the put credit spread. And I turned around, bought the 15 calls and sold the 25 calls. So that's the call debit spread. I just started initiating that position. I will keep adding to that position. So 3 things can happen. Sbet goes up, Sbet goes down, Sbet stays here. Okay. If Sbet goes down more, I know what my max loss is. If Sbet takes off, like everybody is praying to God that it does, and that's only going to happen if and when Ethereum rallies, right? Ethereum rallies, these things are going to go up. Ethereum doesn't go up, these things are not going to go down. They may even go lower. In fact, they are going lower. In fact, yesterday Ethereum was up and Sbet was still down. That's what I'm not understanding, that these companies with MNAV at 0.82 or 0.8 now, why are they not buying their shares back? Because they don't have money, number one. Number two, if they're doing ATM sales, why are they doing it under MNAV? Those are the questions. If you have answers for those, please, please, please come on and let me know and educate me. They should not be doing ATM sales. And for a fact, I can confirm Sbet was doing ATM sales yesterday to buy more ETH. And yeah, and those are the positions. I have about 5 positions, about 78% cash in the account. So we'll see. We'll see where we go. I'll go to charts and answer some more questions in a minute, but let me go to the front real quick and see if anybody else. No, nobody else wants to come on. You guys are all shy. Okay. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the ruling yesterday, which crushed these stocks some more, which crushed MNAV some more. So what's the ruling? SEC says that Michael Saylor with the strategy did that a while ago, got the approval. So SEC, I think actually, to be perfectly honest, I thought about this. Initially, I thought it was negative because SEC said they could delist these companies, right? Well, that's when the crush happened. The unthinkable. They're both below MNAV. The unthinkable is happening. I'm like, no, anything is possible in the markets. What are you guys smoking? I mean, I've been around for 35 years. I've seen it all. Anything is possible. But so the ruling that they came up with, that I think is actually good for the top 2, the cream of the crop that Bmnr and Sbet are in this game, in the treasury asset company game. Okay. Solid boards, solid names behind the company. They know what they're doing. And I think every shareholder, every Sbet or Bmnr shareholder will approve them issuing more shares to buy more ETH. I think they will, just like they did with Strategy, right? It was about 6-8 months ago. So I think this will stop actually the fraudsters, because there is a lot of pump and dump situations going on in this. Right? Oh, I'm an Ethereum company, and stock shoots up and bag holders get created. I think SEC or NASDAQ is trying, or the New York Stock Exchange is trying to stop that. I think it's good for Bmnr and Sbet. I don't think it's bad that, although when people read the headline saying, oh, they could get delisted if they don't have shareholder approval to do ATM sales to buy, tokens. I think every shareholder will approve a Bmnr and Sbet, for them to issue more shares to do sales, stock sales. Somebody also asked me the other day on my channel, do you consider their debt? Well, I consider it in Strategy's case because they do have some convertible debt out there, convertible notes out there that I think 5 years, 6 years, but then it's nothing compared to their ATM sales. However, I do consider that when they put the debt on the balance sheet. But the coupon on that debt is like 0 or 1%. It's very low. But then when the debt is due in 5-6 years, they have to get paid back, the debt holders, right? They take precedence above common equity, and then they may have to dilute, and that may put a lot of pressure on the stock itself. From what I know, and I researched it quite well, on Bmnr and Sbet, there is no debt other than what the company came with, because they were existing companies doing other things. Very minuscule amount of debt, and they're not issuing debt instruments to buy ETH. They're issuing shares. So I read today somewhere that Bmnr did get approval for shareholders, from shareholders, to continue doing ATM sales. But to me, doing ATM sales under MNAV makes 0 sense. 0. And that's why it's putting pressure on, because MNAV is getting crushed while Ethereum is at 4,300 constant. What's going to happen to these if Ethereum goes to 3,500? That's why I put the defined risk on trade, because I don't know. It could go to 5. Yeah, that's where my positions are at. And I will add to the January series. In fact, I may take some losses on the October series, because when I put it on, another week is gone. I still have 45 days. But I think the timing of that was a little too short. But then on any rally, those will be back to probably even. And then, but I want to have enough January, more skin in the game with the different strikes and longer duration. I want to play a little bit, I don't want to, I'm not going to call it kick the can down the road, but I want to have more time for this to play itself out. But anything is possible. Ethereum, look, you're dependent on Ethereum price. You're lying to yourself if you say Tom Lee said it, my dad said it, my uncle said it. Means nothing. Means nothing. Look at Bmnr price. Oh, Kathy Woods is buying it. Who gives a shit? Honestly, right? It's not their money, but this is my money. I'm trading with my money. So, and it's your money. You're trading. Don't be too impressed with these Wall Street folks. I used to listen to analysts and chuckle when I was on the desk. They just talk their book. Go to CNBC. Now, you know what will save us, guys, gals? You know what will save us here? No, I'm okay. I'm not worried about it, because I have a defined risk trade. I know what my max loss is if they both go to 0. But most of you are holding equity. So here's the deal. We need to have Jim Cramer say that Ethereum is going to 0 or Bmnr is going to 0, then it will double. That's what we need. Okay? That's seriously. I mean, so for all I just put a video out a couple days ago. Jim Cramer has blocked me officially. I'm blocked by Jim Cramer. My badge of honor. Thank you, Jimbo. I didn't say anything negative to you. I didn't. I know I didn't. I checked my tweets. I didn't say anything negative. I just kind of maybe hinted that you're like we should have a fund or something, like anti-Cramer fund or something, right? I mean, that's not that bad. Come on now. I mean, look what you did to Palantir. It was 190. You said it's going to 200, and then the thing tanked 50 points within a week. It's like, I don't know what else to say. I know. Yeah, right? There you go. Reverse Jim. Just like we have a, what is it now? We have an app that follows the senators and House member trades, right? Some kid created an app. I mean, those people are killing it. They're beating hedge funds by like 3-4x. They beat me last year. I was like, holy crap. And I thought I had a good year last year. Anyway, so let's go look at some charts. And if you have any questions, post it. If not, let's grab the link. Where's the link? Let me post the link again. If anybody wants to come on, grab the link. I'm going to be here probably another 20, 30 minutes. So I hope I clarified Bmnr and Sbet and what I'm doing. Hope you guys understood it. Again, none of this is trading, financial, or investment advice. What I do is very risky. Do it at your own risk. But if you bought Sbet at 30 and Bmnr at 60, I feel for you. And I unfortunately did watch some YouTube yesterday because I'm on YouTube now. The algo feeds me these things. I watched maybe 2 minutes of a video and I'm like, what is this guy saying, man? Nobody's talking about downside. Everybody's talking about it's going to the moon. I'm like, no. There's always a downside. So here, you will just get that. You will get the downside, you get the up, you get the good, you get the bad. If anybody says there's no downside, guaranteed, run the other direction. It's just not there. It doesn't work like that. And Wall Street will make you wrong. By the way, my mentors used to say Wall Street is a mechanism to make everybody wrong, right? Make you sell at the bottom, buy at the top. Well, it seems like a lot of bag holders were created on Bmnr and Sbet because none of them thought MNAV below 1, impossible. Well, no, there you go. It's possible. So let me go through some quick charts. I went through the positions. Here are the charts. How many people are showing you guys their positions, by the way? I don't know. I don't think anybody is. I don't care. Like I said, I have nothing to prove. I'm too old to get in a pissing race with anybody. Okay, let's do it. Let's go. So those are the positions. Couple are okay, couple are sideways. Bmnr up to 41.50. Well, good thing I bought the calls back. So I booked some gains on that. I'm down like still a couple grand maybe on Bmnr, and I'm down a lot more on Sbet. But I will definitely add to the Januaries that I'm rotating into now. I'm fine. I'm good. Let's look at some charts. All right, let's look at some charts. This is SPX, 1 year, 1 day. I don't, a lot of people watch candles and stuff. I just watch naked charts. Not too many indicators. I'm a technician. I call myself techno fundamentalist. I pay attention to both macro and technicals because I swing trade, position trade. When you're day trading, I don't know what you guys are doing. Good luck. I am sure there are some wonderful day traders who run circles around me. The only thing I'm watching here, this negative actually, is the MACD is just bearish divergence after bearish divergence, but then market's making higher highs continuously, and MACD is just not doing it, right? And it could be one of these situations here, hopefully not. Again, above the 20 EMA, 50. So I have 4 things on my chart: 200 EMA, 50 EMA, 20 EMA, Bollinger Bands, and a MACD. That's it. Naked charts. Once in a while, I'll draw lines. The more lines I draw, because the line I drew today is invalid tomorrow. So again, technical analysis is what it is. This is for people who create biases for themselves. Because one trend line breaks, then they draw another line. I'm like, bro, it just tells me the past. Because my mentors always told me, do you have the prices for tomorrow? I go, what does that mean? I go, no. And I go, then you don't know anything. You're going to look at all the charts you want. Now, it gives you good perspective of what happened in the past. But it doesn't. And none of the indicators people use, they're all lagging indicators. Show me a forward-looking indicator. There isn't one. It can't be one because nobody knows the price tomorrow. And if anybody says, oh, I know what's going to happen tomorrow, No, we're just taking probabilities and educated guesses. So this is SPX. Putting a reversal day today, open higher, close lower. We'll see. We haven't closed yet. I don't know. You know, there's definitely resistance up here. Triple Q, same thing. Retested the all-time high. Same thing. Same thing with the MACD on that. Now, what's impressing me today is TLT. There's a definite correlation between TLT, and TLT is the inverse 20-year Treasury bond ETF. It's an inverse one. So if TLT is going up, interest rates are going down. I may actually put on a TLT trade going out to maybe June of next year. If we're going into an interest rate lowering cycle, you know, sell some puts on TLT and buy some calls. We'll see if I do it. The TLT doesn't move like Palantir does. So, but one picture that once in a while we need to pull back and look back is, this is going back to 2001, 2002 on TLT. Okay, this is the pandemic. TLT being as high as 180 is ZERP, right? Zero interest rate policy. And look where we are now. We're back to where interest rates were in 2001, 2002. So when interest rates are going down, and there is definitely a correlation. So superimpose an SPX chart over a TLT chart. You guys will see the relationship between the two. In the old days, it used to be really, really strong, but then that left the building a while ago as well. But at some point, interest rates mean something. Again, you know, my 2 cents. So this is TLT. Very strong day today. Actually, kind of hovering around the 200 EMA. What's happening with the dollar index? Yep, dollar taking another leg lower, about to, because look what's happening to gold, folks. Anybody? We had a beautiful, beautiful NUGT trade. We got out a little early, obviously, but after gold going sideways for, I don't know, 4 months, 5 months, finally breakout, great volume, on its way to 4,000. Why is that happening? We just keep printing and spending, no problem. And NUGT is the gold miners ETF, 2X ETF. Yeah, we bought the breakout on that. We got out early, way too early. Beautiful, beautiful trade, you know. And now we're hoping for pullbacks. But a market that doesn't want you to get in will not give you the pullbacks. Let's look at some big names. NVIDIA, breaking the 50 EMA, nothing good. So underperforming already, by the way. So, you know, I'm not like saying they're going to crash or anything, but definitely correction is here. And since the earnings, actually, you know, about 185 to today's low is about 165. So pretty decent sell-off at the moment. Apple is actually holding better. But NVIDIA not one. Palantir was down last time I checked it. Yeah, it's either basing or we're about to fall off. So if you're a technician, I'm sure somebody will tweet that any second now on Twitter. They'll say, oh, look at that head and shoulder top. I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it looks pretty. It looks perfect, you know, but I don't know. You know, pull back to 200 EMA on all these would create actually a decent sell-off. This is Hood, another head and shoulder top. Wow. I mean, I know my stuff, but this, like, those kind of things, I don't know. You know, we're in support. Tesla is actually outperforming. Nice little gap up today. We'll definitely have to trade TSLL on that. I'm trading the 2X ETFs on all of these, by the way. If I do trade, like, I will not trade Tesla, but I'll trade the 2X ETF and do mind slippage on all of these, by the way. What else? On the Mag 7, Microsoft. See what I mean? Look at that. Yeah. Since the earnings, that gap up, look where we are, right? Same thing in Meta. Microsoft's actually a nasty day it's putting in. Google from Meta better. Google from the worst Mag 7 stock is becoming the best Mag 7 stock now. I do own Google. Full transparency, I own 4 stocks in my long-term portfolio. One is Google, one is Nike, I got lucky. Okay, I super got lucky with this. So I bought Nike. I bought Google during the April crash. I bought Kava. I actually have cash secured puts on Kava. I want to buy some more. And I bought Unity software. So they're all doing beautiful. That's it. That's all the 4 stocks I have. So if we look at the chart of Bmnr, yeah, 4150. You know, I have my trade on. I don't know. That's all I can say. You know, I don't listen to anybody. I mean, I structured the trade in a way that I cannot lose more than I already know when I put it on, and my upside is pretty decent. Give myself an upside kicker, and same thing with Sbet. Yeah, I mean, we're at 1468. Can't get out of its own way. If the company is doing ATMs with MNAV at 0.80, they need to get their fucking head examined. So if the CEO of Sbet is out there somewhere, you need to get your head examined if you're doing ATMs under at 0.8 MNAV. Okay, but I put my trade on and I'll suffer the consequences. I like Lemonade quite a bit. Great earnings, really. Pulling back to 50 EMA. Maybe one more day of pullback. I will definitely start initiating a position on Lemonade. A lot of stocks a lot of stocks are getting shot to pieces. A lot of people interested in HIMS. Actually, that bounced twice off the 200 EMA. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's I trade HIMZ, the 2X ETF instead of HIMS. I try to trade all the 2X ETFs on these as a swing trader, right? Bang for your buck. And a lot of the IPOs, like a FIG, got crushed. I think it's getting crushed some more today. Yeah, down to 50. Although IPO was 37, so maybe we'll wait for it to get there. No rush. Patience, position, and planning. What else? I don't know. I mean, I have like 500 stocks on my watch list. Oh, what am I long? I'm long TSSI. I bought it. I bought TSSI, and that thing was left for dead. They did a secondary at 17. I bought the stock at 12.5 range. I think it'll get back up to 17, right? A couple thousand shares. Yeah, it looks okay. I don't know. What else do I want to buy? Oh, MSTR. Let's talk about that. MNAV getting crushed on MSTR. Oh, it's up 5 today. Very interesting. See, these are the signals that you need to look for. Whatever stock you have that's green, when the market's down on its butt, you're outperforming. Stick to it. Oscar, 1915. Congrats to my group. I know my group begged me to buy this thing at 16, and then it went down to 13, and I'm like, ha, ha, ha. And then now they're going, ha, 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 Serge. Looks good. Maybe close the gap, $20. Looks nice. There's a lot of support, retail support on Oscar. I can tell on Twitter. People are going Google Gaga over it. And Neo, I don't know. Neo actually is like, yeah, if it pulls back to 20 MA, middle Bollinger Band, maybe I'll give it a crack about 550, 575. I mean, decent chart, really. I like Zeta. I like the chart of Zeta. I don't know. It's just kind of consolidating before the next leg up, it looks like to me. What else am I looking at? I have like so many stocks on the thing. Oh, SoundHound. I actually do like SoundHound. One of the little AI numbers. 1390 up 61 cents. See, this is what I'm talking about. Market's on its ass and it's outperforming. Whatever you have green in your hands today, don't let it go. Reddit is another one. Beautiful chart. Pullback 20 MA. Perfect pullback after the earnings. It crushed the earnings actually. ASTS. Yeah, there you go. That's Rocket Lab. Consolidating. See, when the market's going down, your stock's consolidating, you're in a good world. It's the same thing with Oklo. Actually, I did short Oklo. I made some money with it, believe it or not. I do go short as much as I go long, by the way. So, yeah, I mean, see, just create a watch list, put some alerts. When they get to your levels, you do it. Just exercise some patience, man. You don't have to be involved every single day. You need to just, you need to just be patient. Let them come to you. Don't rush. What's the rush? Markets open every day. Let me look at, let's see. Oh, AMD. I think there's a downgrade in AMD today. It's getting crushed. Why? Was there a downgrade? Oh, it's breaking 50-day. Let's get to I don't know. Let's get to 140 and trade the 2x ETF of that. AMDL is the 2x ETF. Where's Micron? Is it falling apart too? No. Micron the other way around. Avago, good earnings. Yeah, Lulu, absolute disaster earnings yesterday. One of my members said, should we buy it? I'm like, no. I gotta let them. I mean, Lulu is like, what is that? It's like a 7-year low on Lulu. These are the stocks you want to stay away during stagflationary periods. Definitely, yeah. Look at Lulu, dead money. If you held on to it for, I don't know, Jesus, 10 years. Let's look at 10 years. So Lulu is back to where it was. Jesus, in 2020. Wow. Whew. No, actually, I can go back further. July of 2019. Amazing, right? Yeah. The other one I say is Tesla's dead money, or been dead money last 4 years, and people yell at me. It has been dead money. Look at it. Tesla is exactly where it was 4.5 years ago. Now, what will happen? I don't know. Tesla is a wonderful trading stock. I don't think it's a buy and hold stock. Yeah, one day it will be. It's a buy and hold stock if you bought it 10 years ago. Affirm, great earnings. Just coming off, actually. Did it pull back? Yeah, after the earnings, it pulled back. Almost hit 100. Yeah, it did hit 100. Pulled to 80. Yeah, I mean, points are plenty, folks, if you're trading, swing trading. Amazon, do we need to look at Amazon? Not really, but let's take a look. Beautiful. One of the Max 7 that's holding, actually. Been very bullish on China all year. People were like, you're nuts. I'm like, no. They're doing exactly what we're doing to a much larger degree, though. Right? Stimulating. Their economy is about to go to shit. Printing and spending, just like we do here. That's why the stocks are doing well. Baba is one. I like, actually, Baidu now with their autonomous vehicle side. Yeah, it's breaking out. Definite buy and pullback. JD probably will be the next one to go. Yeah, there you go. If you want a sleeper. Again, none of this trading or financial advice, folks, or investment advice. What else? Somebody asked me about Bull. No, I don't like it, honestly. Coinbase. I'm going through my list. Yeah, it's just kind of consolidating here. We'll see. We'll see what happens to crypto. We'll see what happens to crypto. Duolingo. That got crushed the day the earnings came out. What a reversal day on that one. Yep. Well, it's coming into support if you're kind of interested. I'm not interested. I don't like anything under 200 EMA. And then you're going to say, then why are you buying Bmnr? It's not under its 200 EMA. Why are you buying Sbet? It's not under its 200 EMA. Not that moving averages matter at all on these things. Honestly, people like moving average this, moving average that. Shorted Joby Aviation correctly, covered too soon as usual. It's coming into a buy range. Looks like Archer. Those are the eVTOL stocks. That's under. It's just, yeah, it's do or die right there for that one. Yeah, I do like Lemonade quite a bit. I want to be in there. Very much so. Anyway, folks, so that's what's going on today. I don't know. I think I was able to explain myself pretty well on Bmnr and Sbet. Know what you're buying. Know what you're getting into. Just because Tom Lee's saying something doesn't mean shit. Again, much respect to Tom Lee. He's a GOAT. He has a thesis. He's sticking to it. And to me, if you're going to get shaken in, shaken out. Now, if you're buying Bmnr to hold it for the next 10 years, different story altogether. But most people do trade and they get shaken in, shaken out because they position size incorrectly. They're like, they buy too much of something. Like I don't put more than 12, 14, max 15% of my allocate all my equity to any position, period. No need. No need. Well, we'll have a green day pretty soon on Sbet. I think this is 7 days in a row. Is it? Let's see. I mean, it's, yeah, 1, 2, 8, 9. This is 8 days in a row now. Wow. 2, 3. Yep, this is 8 days in a row. Tomorrow will be 9 if it's red again. We'll see. We'll survive. We'll thrive. Not concerned. Life is beautiful. Enjoy life. Know your risk. Know your reward. That's all there is to it, folks. Trading is not that hard. Most people make it hard. Okay. Nobody wants to come on. Unbelievable. S&P balancing today. A lot of speculation. Mstr. No. Definitely not. Definitely not going to happen. MSTR? No. You know who's the committee on? They're not putting Hood in. You think they're going to put MSTR? No. All those people think probably Michael Saylor is a Ponzi scammer or Ponzi or whatever the heck it is. No, I don't think MSTR is going in. Do they deserve to be in? Probably not. It's a treasury asset company. Hood probably deserves it to be in there, but then they just put IBKR in there last week, so I don't think they're going to do Hood. Look, what difference does it make if you're in the S&P 500? It gives you a push for a couple of days, and then actually kind of hurts you because now you're in the program selling and program buying, right? Before you may have been outperforming SPY or SPX. Now you're going to just kind of chug along with it. So, as we know, SPX is a market cap weighted index. And my suggestion is there's 550 are doing well, 450 average at best, if not underperforming. I think those will do better than the top 50 going forward in an interest rate cutting cycle. So that's it. If you missed it, go watch from the start. I showed my positions, full transparency. I will post my positions today on the community page of the YouTube channel. I do 3 live streams. Monday trading with Sergio, Wednesday trading with Sergio, Friday power hour. I do a members only live stream every Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. Pacific. If you would like to become a member, go click join, send me an email, sergio@sergioavadian.com. I'll send you the Telegram chat group link. Again, none of this is trading, financial, or investment advice. Pure entertainment. What I do is very risky. If you follow me, face the consequences. So, with that said, much love. Have a great weekend, everybody. It's only money. Well, may all your longs go up and may all your shorts go down. How about that? Let's finish on a positive note. And if you're bag holding on Bmnr and Sbet, I really don't feel that bad, because you didn't do your due diligence, your research maybe. So don't be a trader and become a long-term investor. I know a lot of those people. They start as traders and then they become long-term investors. Don't do that. If you're a trader, stay a trader. Long-term invest in your investment account. So, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Just another trade. Watch your equity. That's your scoreboard. It does not lie. You don't need to do fancy-mancy spreadsheets and put all these things in there. That's your scoreboard. It does not lie. Whatever you do is reflected in there. So with that said, my hat's off to everyone. Thank you for joining. Please put a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. If you didn't enjoy it, don't put a thumbs down. Kills the algo according to my YouTube manager. Why? Why would a thumbs down? I'm a nice guy. With all that said, we'll see you guys on Monday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, trading with Sergio. And yeah, have a great weekend. Stay healthy. Be well.